and welcome to everyone. This is author Q&A. Mission Point Press is proud to have a author today, Charles Cutter, who has a wonderful, entertaining trio of novels that we're going to be talking about with Charlie. And I'm going to show you those once. They are so fresh, right from, for instance, this one, Bare Bones, just arrived from printing, and we're going to start right off with Charles Cutter, who's a lifelong Michigan resident and writer. And Charlie, welcome.
Thank you, Mark. It's good to be here.
Yes. And why don't you tell us a little bit about Bare Bones and why it's called that, and what Charles Cutter is writing about here.
Oh, great. Well, these are in a series. You can read them in any order, but they're all mysteries. Bare Bones takes place in Leelanau County in the Sleeping Bear Dunes. Mm-hmm. It's also called the Little Finger of Michigan. It's sort of the northwest of Traverse City. And I've been actually researching this book for 4 or 5 years, and then started to write it about 1.5 years ago. And just as it's now coming out, it turns out it's the 50th anniversary of the Sleeping Bear Dunes mm-hmm. National Lakeshore, which is just happy coincidence. So nothing I did to do that or earn it, it just happened. But in any event, the Sleeping Bear Dunes has turned out to be a real national treasure. It's a beautiful beach and a beautiful area, but the whole park was not without a fair amount of controversy when it started. And that's really what this book centers on. The park wanted to have a contiguous lakeshore and a bunch of property, but to do that, they had to condemn a bunch of property that was owned by residents. And at the time, that was a big problem.
Yeah.
So anyway, this book starts with a 400-acre cherry orchard on Port Oneida Trail, which is an actual road that is now in the Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore. And the family does not want to sell the orchard. It's been in the family for almost 100 years. The Park Service is litigating it. Our hero, Burr Lafayette, the lawyer, is fighting over it. And it's all going along pretty well until the head of the family, Helen Lockwood, disappears for a year. And that puts a terrible halt to everything. And then, without telling too much of the story, a year later, she's found in a shallow grave on South Manitou Island, which gets the name of the story, Bare Bones. So anyway, that's really the story in a nutshell, or the beginning of it anyway.
A location that I think it was Good Morning America described it as one of the most beautiful places in America in a contest that was held. And I certainly agree with that. You know, of the 3 books here that we want to talk about a little bit, then you only have to go back about a year from Bare Bones here to talk about something that's very much about our state of Michigan, and that would be along the Au Sable River, I believe, the Gray Drake. And I wonder if you can tell us about it and how that character, Burr Lafayette, comes into the story again, and tell us about the Gray Drake.
Well, the murder in the Gray Drake takes place on the South Branch of the Au Sable River, and the Au Sable is one of the most famous trout streams, not just in Michigan but in the entire United States.
Yeah.
And the most famous time on the South Branch of the Au Sable is the hex hatch, which is a giant mayfly. They hatch at night, and it makes fools out of otherwise very smart large trout. And so they're fished for at night. And I wanted to write a book that featured a beautiful part of Michigan and get some drama in it. So I actually went to Gates Au Sable Lodge, which is the most famous lodge in Michigan, and hired a guide I'd been on the river before there and fished it before. I hired him to take me from Chase Bridge to Smith Bridge. And the guide said, "Well, where's your fly rod?" And I said, "Well, I don't have a fly rod with me today." And he said, "Well, why would we go?" And I said, "Because I need to do research for this mystery." So anyway, we floated the river, It was in September. The colors were just starting. It was gorgeous, and that was how the genesis for that novel that was released last summer.
Did you did you tell the guide that you rode with that the reason that I'm taking this trip is I need to kill someone here?
Yeah, that's right. Well, what happened was, and I won't give away too much of the story, but
Yeah.
we went down a little ways, and I asked him. I said, "Look, let's stop here." And I didn't really know what the book was going to be about, except the Au Sable Riverboat it's a real work of art, and I knew I wanted to feature that in the book.
Is it similar to this?
That's actually it, right? That's on the cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
So
we go.
the guide dropped the anchor. Except the anchor on one of these riverboats is not an anchor that we think of. It's a long piece of heavy chain, because otherwise it gets snagged in the river and you can't get it up and down. And as soon as that anchor went down, and I'd seen him before, I thought, well, that's how he's going to die. He's going to get that chain wrapped around his ankle.
Great.
And that's so that was really how the cause of death came about. And Burr Lafayette is he's a brilliant lawyer. He's really a civil litigator, sort of down on his luck. He's not a criminal lawyer at all, but he gets always dragged into these criminal cases. He's very his personal life is a mess, but he's a brilliant lawyer. He's really one of the feature characters in the book is his maiden aunt, who's in her 80s, and she calls him the idiot savant of law.
Yeah.
So that was really how The Great Drake got started, and it's on all these books are in your local bookstore or on Amazon, and they're all Bare Bones should be coming out here in the next week or two, but they're all readily available.
Was that the aunt who was lecturing him and said, Aaron Burr Lafayette? So is that his full name?
Yeah, his full name is Aaron Burr Lafayette.
Yeah.
He goes by Burr. He's a distant relation, fictitiously, to Aaron Burr, which is why he has that.
I get it. Yeah. That's great. Okay, let's talk about something that is famous enough for a lot of folks to know what that pony is.
Yeah, that was really the first book in the series, and that is the Pink Pony is probably the most famous bar, certainly on Mackinac Island and maybe in the entire state. And there's that little hobby horse Pink Pony that hangs above the bar, and I courted my wife on Mackinac Island, so she and I love Mackinac Island. I always wanted to write a book about Mackinac Island. So in this case, the Port Huron Mackinacs and the Chicago Mackinac are probably the two premier sailboat races in America, at least. And when the sailors all come into the bar, they're all haven't had a drink, they're all tired and thirsty. They all go to the Pink Pony because that's the closest bar. And that's where the murder takes place the night that the Port Huron Mackinac finishes. And murder takes place in the bar. I talked to the owners, and they were delighted they were very good sports. They were delighted to have a murder take place in their bar. They actually sell the books there in their gift store. So this is a new edition that's coming out really contemporaneously with Bare Bones. The old edition's been out, but this is a new improved version. So there's all the famous places are in this book. There's all these books feature quite a few courtroom scenes because Burr's a litigator and his clients are always on trial for murder in these books.
And it really didn't give anything particular away to talk about the murder at the Pink Pony because there's a dead person there within pages.
Well, I think by page 6, by page 1, somebody's dead.
Okay, great. So talking about how you write these and all, tell me how far back does it go that you had an interest while you were also successful in business and an attorney yourself? Where did the writing begin or the interest for you?
I've always been a big reader. Both my parents,
Yep.
my mother's deceased, my father, but she was a big reader. She taught at Michigan State, and my father, as I said, is a big reader. And growing up, I was an only child, and I read when there wasn't anybody to play with. So I was always a big reader. My mother always encouraged me to write. I would say I wrote my first piece of fiction, probably, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago, but I didn't get serious about it until maybe 10 or 12 years ago. And I just felt it was something that, I wanted to do. It's painful, but I just felt like this is something I need to do.
Have you had a mentor or two over the years, or just favorite authors who you just absolutely love everything that comes out?
I do have some favorite authors and some favorite, I have some favorite authors and some favorite books. I would say I took a lot of English courses, both at Michigan State and the University of Michigan. Mark, did we lose our Zoom camera here a minute?
I don't think so. Did you?
I can't see you. Can you still see me?
Yeah, I can pause this for a second.
Anyway, I went to both Michigan and Michigan State and took English and writing classes at. All right.
Okay.
Anyway, I went to both Michigan and Michigan State and took reading and writing classes at both of them, and then just got to the point where I thought I need to put something down on paper. And I was taking a film course at Michigan State with a guy named Bill Vincent, and I wrote some screenplays. And I thought I almost had one of them sold. And anyway, I went to both Michigan and Michigan State and took reading and writing classes at both of them, and then just got to the point where I thought I need to put something down on paper. And I was taking a film course at Michigan State with a guy named Bill Vincent, and I wrote some screenplays. And I thought I almost had one of them sold, and then I thought, you know what? It's probably going to be easier to sell a book than it is a screenplay. So I thought, well, I'm going to write a book. So first I wrote some short stories, and then I started writing novels. And that was really how I got to where I am. In terms of authors, my two favorite Michigan authors are Jim Harrison and Tom McGuane, neither of whom write mysteries, but they're both great authors. Anatomy of a Murder by Robert Traver, who was he was a Michigan Supreme Court judge. That took place in the Upper Peninsula. I modeled a few things after that. And then most people don't know this, but Agatha Christie, in addition to writing her mystery novels, wrote a play called Witness for the Prosecution, which is a marvelous courtroom drama that actually Alfred Hitchcock made into a movie. And I patterned a little bit after that. And there's nothing wrong with Dash Hammett in terms of, sort of hard-boiled Private Eye, and Earl Stanley Gardner sort of wrote the book on modern courtroom dramas, as far as that goes.
During this quarantine, has this been the period where you've been putting together and finishing up these novels, or have you also had a little bit of time to be working on maybe yet another Burr Lafayette story?
I'd say all of that. There was a lot of polishing that needed to be done on Bare Bones and an extensive rewrite on The Pink Pony, but I've got another, I haven't started writing the first word yet, but I've got another Burr Lafayette book that is going to come out pretty soon. And then actually, probably prior to that, the prequel to these three probably be released either in the fall or next spring.
Is it really important that there's an Eve and a Jacob?
It's sort of,
about that.
That's a really good question. I was thinking about that, and in some ways they complete Burr. They're foils for him, and they do things that he is either unwilling or incapable of doing. So I think they end up being very important characters in the book, because they allow the reader to see another side of Burr and really what he's all about. He's actually quite a complex character.
And Eve and Jacob are?
Jacob is his law partner.
Yeah.
And Eve is their longtime long-suffering legal assistant
Everything.
who really runs the office and is smarter than both of them.
Right. So, can you write anything without dogs in it?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I haven't been able to yet. Maybe, in fact, you can't see them, but there's 2 dogs here with me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were barking. Now they're sleeping.
I think Goldens, or what are they?
There's an English setter and a black lab.
Great. What is Zeke, by the way, in bare bones?
Zeke is a yellow lab.
Yellow lab.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. And so how many dogs do you think you've had over the years?
I don't think a dozen, but it's probably getting
Wow.
close to that. They're great friends. Andy Rooney said the average dog is a nicer person than the average person.
You're right.
And he was probably right. Present company excluded.
So is it a family affair when it's time to name the new dog? Or do they come with names? Or
It's sort of a debate, actually.
Yeah.
My wife is a cat lover, and we have 4 cats now, so I usually defer with the cats to her, and she sort of defers the dogs with me. But, we have 3 kids, too, and everybody has a hand in it.
So the Great Lakes State couldn't be clearer in your books. It's just wonderful the way that we travel from one small town with a beautiful landscape to another and all. Have you even entertained the possibility that Burr Lafayette might have to leave for a while or go somewhere else? Or
Well, I've thought about that. The old saw about writing what you know is really the most important thing.
Yep.
There are another couple of places that I probably know enough where I could write about them. And I've thought about it. I don't have anything firm yet, but I've certainly thought about it.
you could put him in O'Hare Airport for an afternoon.
Well, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, things like that. Yeah.
An afternoon going on for a lifetime.
Yep. Well, there's so much more we could talk about, but I just love the idea of a trilogy of Michigan mysteries that have appeal not just for Michiganders, but people who visit here, vacation here, or love the whole Great Lakes area, that kind of thing. But
Mark, thank you.
yeah, well, thank you very much. Mission Point Press is proud to have you on board, and we look forward to more time with you in the future, and we'll see you again soon.
Good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.